Rich bio. It all starts from zero.
You know, when you follow your passion, everything falls into place. Just never lose hope. You don't have to be rich to become rich. Even when the heaviest burden is on your shoulders, you can thrive. Just believe, like how Guy Lilabreté did. His belief in himself pushed him to become the CEO of the largest circus production company from being a performer in the circus. Isn't that too real to be true? Guy wasn't rich from the start. He had nothing to begin with. Whatever he did with passion and conviction. Isn't it remarkable to found a company on the very bread and butter he was earning? This is the story of the most inspirational man who uses his wit and talents to lead the foundation into a multi-million-dollar business. Guy is an entrepreneur in a true sense. Nobody would have thought of making Succes a multi-million-dollar branded business during his time. According to Guy, we didn't reinvent the circus, we packaged it in a much more modern way. And that's how the entrepreneur was born. Cirque du Soleil, the largest circus production company to date, has been seen by more than 90 million people worldwide. Indeed, his name isn't as famous as other multi-million-dollar entrepreneurs like Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg. But you can't deny that you've never heard of the international performance hub Cirque du Soleil. Let's take a look into the life journey of this amazing person, the one of true perseverance. Guy was born on the 2nd of September 1959 in Quebec City, Canada. From the very start, he developed an interest in fine arts after his parents took him to watch the Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Though at that tender age, he never thought of making circus his bread and butter, he unconsciously signed up for that future. Even while in school, he produced several performing art events. Eventually, he became a proficient accordion and harmonica player. Well, you can say studies were something that did not fascinate him very much. So instead, he added an artist to his name. His life took a major turn when he decided to leave Canada to hitchhike around Europe and make money by playing the accordion when he was just 18. During his trip to Europe, Guy met several international street performers who taught him the arts of fair eating and stilt walking. This phase of his life could be better termed as exploration, where he found out the great talents hidden, unappreciated, undiscovered, all accessing the world. He understood that if he was fascinated with performance art as a kid and even as an adult, there would be thousands and millions of people who would love to be a part of this as an audience. He returned back to Quebec to become a street performer on the streets of Quebec. His talents were recognized widely, leading him to join a group of performers formed by Gilles St. Croix in Bay St. Paul. The group included all types of artists, starting from fire breathers, jugglers, and acrobats to perform shows all across the country. Though performing shows what had Guy's heart, but had no cash. Eventually, the monetary crisis in his life pushed Guy to quit performing and look for a 9-to-5 job to put an end to the non-existent stable cash flow. Guy once again returned to Quebec to accept a full-time steady job at a hydroelectric power plant. 3 days into his new steady job, when Guy finally thought he would have a stable income now, things went down the hill. Due to the internal policies, the employees of his company called for a strike. It happened on such a high scale that Guy was fired. If you were in Guy's place, would you have continued to look for a normal job? Probably yes. But you know what Guy did? I don't believe in pitfalls. I believe in taking risks and not doing the same thing twice. He took this as a signal from God and swore to never work in a normal job again and started to devote his complete attention to performing arts. Guy started stilt walking with his future business partners, Gilles St. Croix and Daniel Gaultier. They decided to restart the performance of an art fair in the city of Bay St. Paul called La Fête Foraine, the Carnival. Together, the trio had also organized an international festival for street performers in the town. The sound of success for this particular event went screaming loud and clear, growing their little passion into a moderate financial success over the next few summers. Eventually, this event was spotted by the government of Quebec in 1983, which offered an art grant of $1.5 million to celebrate the 450th anniversary of Jacques Cartier's discovery of Canada. Technically, Canada's discovery had nothing to do with art performance, but because it was a grand festival, entertainment during that time was still preferred in the way of arts and street performance. Wait, did you think the art grant was given out? Actually not. It was rather offered. In order to win the grant, Guy's partner, Gilles de Croix, walked 56 miles from Bay St. Paul to Quebec City on stilts. How impossible yet mesmerizing it sounded, the trick worked, and they got the grant. Using the grant, the partners created and launched the Le Grand Tour du Cirque du Soleil. Yes, the same production we know today. However, it was just created and launched. It practically had no brand value. Plus, it was a one-year project. According to the government's demand, the project was supposed to be a touring event that would perform in other provinces as well. Everything was well planned out and structured. However, the first version of the circus was financially and mentally stressful for all. With an investment of $1.5 million, the circus could only create a profit of $40,000. Still, it made something, right? If not more. Guy had hopes that this could mean something, and he put everything in line in 1987 when he took the circus to the Los Angeles Arts Festival to drum up new business. On reaching LA, Guy was left with no penny, only the hope and the business, his circus. Along with the company, Guy took up the personal liability and set up shop in California after several months of accumulating the money. Soon, the show he wanted to launch in LA was a massive hit and had led to revenue of $2 million. Honestly, in an interview, Guy revealed that he had nothing to bring the entire troupe back to Canada if the show was unsuccessful. So the latter was the only option, successful, and he did it. Motivated by this success, Guy and his companion dedicated their lives to making this thing work. Guy brought around both private and public investors who were highly intrigued by the group's originality and determination. The company started to grow rapidly by multiplying the number of shows at an international level. By the early 1990s, it started independent productions in Europe and Asia. 3 years later, Guy debuted the group's first permanent show, Mystery, at the Treasure Island Casino in Las Vegas. With great responses, Guy wasted no time but utilized the demand and opened up another permanent show in Las Vegas, as well as at various other locations such as Walt Disney World in Orlando, the Tokyo Disney Resort, and in Florida. Guy La Liberté and Cirque du Soleil were the hottest show in Vegas thanks to the popularity of Mystery. They also had no contract that prevented them from opening up shop elsewhere. Cirque du Soleil grew at a breakneck speed around the world during the 90s and the 2000s. Cirque du Soleil, which began with a single show in 1990, would eventually play for more than 100 million people in 300 cities across the world. Cirque du Soleil now employs over 5,000 people and generates $1 billion in annual revenue and earnings of $250 million. Guy La Liberté has amassed a personal wealth of $2.6 billion along the road. He sold 90% of his stake in the company in 2015. He sold the remaining 10% to Caisse de dépôt et placement du Québec on February 17, 2020. Why did he do that? The Vegas shows sell out 97% of the time and account for 60% of Cirque's annual earnings. Mr. La Liberté still owns 80% of the company and maintains complete creative control over each of his 10 traveling and permanent shows all over the world. He probably had enough with circus. Plus, he understood where the sound of money echoed more, the technology sector. Before he decided to sell out, around 2006, La Liberté began playing very high-stakes online cash games and live tournaments for fun. He won $696,220 in the World Poker Tour Season 5 tournament at the Bellagio in Las Vegas in April 2007. However, instead of doubling up his money, he lost the most on online poker games. His loss accounts for approximately 31 million US dollars. Soon, he left the need to spend money wisely, and therefore, in September 2009, he became the first Canadian space tourist. He dedicated his flight to raising awareness of water issues facing humankind. The event was broadcasted by a 120-minute webcast program featuring various artistic performances in 14 cities. Having had a first-hand experience with poverty and real struggle, Guy was motivated to become a passionate philanthropist. He even founded the One Drop Foundation to fight poverty and facilitate the poor by providing water access to everyone. His creative experiences cultivated the mannerism of his works. One Drop Foundation uses dance, music, theater, circus arts, and visual arts to encourage and support education, public awareness, and community, especially the water issues. Guy is a bold visionary who took the step to transform his life. Life is full of adventure. There's no such thing as a clear path. What inspiration do you take from his life? Leave a comment down below. To listen to more such inspiring stories, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn the bell icon on, and we'll see you at our next one.